But that is semantics, because of course, there's politics, and people have interpersonal relationships, and there's drama, and you could call it politics, but it would definitely be a very different kind of politics. The organic organization is just really simple. I mean, one meaning of saying I want things to go organically is I want a hands-off approach, and that's definitely not what I mean. I think we need a hands-on approach, and I'm really saying when we look for metaphors upon which to base our society, we should use organic metaphors of how organic living things cooperate. So, for example, within our own body, in which, people are not really, the organs are not bosses of each other, they're just specialists. And that's what I would like to see.
I really appreciate hearing that. That's yeah, that was very well put. It's really clear to my mind. I really agree with that in many regards. Yeah, I think that there needs to be a hands-on approach, and the way that I'm doing that is uh, making choices in my life, learning, or studying and practicing nonviolent communication,
Right on.
and that's not. It has nothing to do with being nice, um, but it does involve learning how to be empathic and to listen to somebody and to, well, I guess empathy. We all, I guess, I'm not sure if you have a similar definition or idea of empathy, or to enter into empathy with somebody. For me, is to literally feel, or to see it from their perspective, so I can understand what's going on. Like when my wife and I have arguments, it's difficult to want to empathize sometimes. And when my partner and I in business, when we have disagreements, we have this commitment between ourselves to to pause, and no matter how pissed off we're getting, we always, because I mean our relationship is more important than anything, because who else do we have to depend on? I mean, it's not corporations or the grocery store. They're not going to give us food when we need it if we're unable to supply money to them. So we that's the hands-on approach I'm talking about. Just making that visceral commitment to one another, and then literally enacting it, and through that we take these cultural models, and like you say, we can take things from civilization. And I have nothing against technology, and I agree with what you're saying when you say it's a matter of responsibility, and the use of that technology that makes it beneficial or devastating. Um, yeah, I'm really appreciative of this. I'm just being able to hear your voice, and the spontaneity of it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it helps to be able to get past some of these things, because I understand why, if somebody makes a video saying civilization is crappy, or something more subtle than that, but whatever, that if somebody like me comes in and says, well, wait, what about this point, that it's very much like, from your guys' point of view, somebody that just wants to come and say, no, it's great, it's difficult, and maybe Zach is talking to people that need to wake up exclusively. And I'm trying to have a conversation among those that have woken up at the same time, and it can be confusing even if someone's willing, and not everybody should be willing. Some people could just focus on, getting people up to even realizing that there is a problem, or realizing that civilization, has not really been tried yet. I mean, it's one of these things. I mean, one reason that you could maybe keep the word civilization and make something totally different underneath it is because it's like progress from hypocrisy. Another thing I've always been against was hypocrisy, and then I realized that to a certain degree, being hypocritical is just, what stops you from being hypocritical is that you're honest about it. Because in another sense, if you're acting one way and you're trying to improve yourself, then you need ideals that you're not yet living up to. And it's not hypocrisy if you admit that, but it's still an awful lot like hypocrisy. And in that same sense, you can get things out of a hypocritical situation because there's these promises that have been made. People do think civilization is a certain kind of thing, and when you show them that it isn't what they thought, they can go ahead and maybe try to build the thing, that they thought it was. And on the other hand, there's certain terms and ideas I argue for that, sort of making the term mean what it was supposed to mean. I don't actually believe that about civilization. I do believe that things done in civilization have been so terrible that it probably is a good idea. And really, it's a very direct question I was asking is, well, let's come up with a new name of what it is we're trying to build. I mean, the ideas of what we're trying to build are more important, but those are going to take a long time and be a collaboration. And so we just need a hint of that. And then some sort of a name that we put these ideas we create in. Like some of the people are talking about sustainability. That's probably a pretty good, maybe there's a term for civilization that comes from sustainability. I do think that I see the association, for example, of civilization and war, and also the fact that civilizations has just been about building cities, so it really has been about building, it's not been about the idealist stuff. It's been about building these war machines and these economic machines which do have built-in oppression. So I understand why someone would say, hey, that term implies oppression.
There's a long history that just makes it abhorrent. I think it's difficult to get over everything that we think that we perceive of it. It's like, this is so bad, we just need to throw out all of it, the bathwater baby and all. So I think you're touching on something that's probably an issue that a lot of people, it'll take them time to like get to a point where semantics are no longer an issue and they can hear what. And what is your name, or can I?
No, I want to go by Piero online.
Piero, okay. I think that'll take people time to, get to that point where they can sit down and begin to hear others and work collaboratively in a way that will actually, start sending offshoots of progression. People actually taking action and getting what they need.